Hello everyone and welcome to another tactical commentary for today's online sortie in IL-2 Cliffs of Dover. Once again, I'm flying a BF-109 E3. As usual, I'll be flying without a wingman, because a certain someone, yes, I'm talking to you, Chris, I know you watch these videos, doesn't have as much time to play the game these days, so I will be flying without my dedicated wingman from the days of old. But that's okay, because as long as I'm extremely careful, I should be able to survive on my own. Today's sortie will be another free hunt over the English Channel in the last fading hours of daylight. My plan is to climb up to a really high altitude, probably about 5,000 meters, over the French coast, and then cross to the English Channel and be right about to go feet dry over England, and I will hunt from there. And if I do identify anybody, any British planes going out to cross into the channel, then I will stalk them from behind. And this has two purposes. Number one, since it's the late evening, the sun is setting in the direction of England, so when I bounce them, I want to bounce them from that direction. I want to be with the sun behind me when I do the bounce. The second thing is, since they're traveling from England, they're expecting enemy fighters to be over France, so they'll always be typically looking in that direction, so it's best to stalk them from behind, from the direction of their friendly territory. And that's my plan, and hopefully it will work. The reason why I try to avoid going feet dry over England is because, number one, I'm not very familiar with the land over there. I don't know where landmarks are, so I will probably get lost if I do go over land. Number two, I don't really see any reason for me to be over there in the fighter unless I'm escorting a group of high-altitude bombers, so you'll never see me actually going low altitude over England ever. I will not risk myself doing that, and I definitely won't be vulturing. And here I am over the coastline at about 5,500 meters, and I have just spotted a likely candidate for a bounce, and that is a lower altitude fighter, single, he's alone, and he is headed out to sea in the direction of France. So I will dive on it and see what comes of it. Now for this dive, I was sort of worried about over-revving the engine and over-speeding in the dive since he was so far away, so far below me. So I throttled back, but in hindsight I didn't really have to. Had I kept my speed up in this dive and just pushed it to the limit, then I probably wouldn't have had to follow him down when he broke. I could have just pulled up and not been under threat for him to roll back over and get me. But since I slowed down, I wasn't really in a dive. I wasn't really going much faster than him here, which is why it takes so long for me to catch him, even though I should have caught him in a matter of seconds. So it's definitely a lesson I just learned from this, so hopefully I won't be making that same mistake in the future. And that extra time that it took me to close with him actually messed up this bounce, as you just saw, because he noticed me just there, and he's going into invasive maneuvers. Since I'm going not much faster than him, I decided that instead of boom and zooming, I would just follow him through his maneuvers and try to get him as quick as possible. Since I don't have much of an energy advantage, it's better to simply press the attack, I think. Especially when the fight's starting with him on the defensive like this. Now, my relative inexperience with flying the 109E is starting to show here, because I didn't realize exactly how slow I was flying there, and I just stalled. And that could have killed me if I hadn't caught it as quick as I did before it entered a spin. But fortunately, he stalls right here, and so I'm able to recover here from what could have potentially been a death sentence for me in this kind of close-in knife fight with a better turning plane. And right there, that was a pilot kill. And I was so surprised that I didn't know for sure whether or not I'd actually killed him. And because the message just flashed for a second on the chat in the upper left, so I kind of followed him for a while trying to make sure, and it soon became clear. So I headed back for France to land because I'm running low on fuel. Here I am back over France, and I was trying to RTB at my airbase at Calais Mark, and I got this nervous feeling, so I started checking around me, and I saw that plane right there, and I thought better to be safe than sorry, so I'd go and investigate since I still had a lot of cannon ammunition left. So I turned around to go take a peek at this unidentified contact, and what I see is that here there's more than one plane, first of all, and there's flak bursts going off in the air, so there's definitely an enemy mixed in here, at least one. And so I come to check up on this guy, and as I'm pulling up it becomes quite obvious that that is a Hurricane, and so I engage. The problem here is that I simply do not have the energy to follow this guy or really to threaten him in this initial climb I do, because I was already so low below him when I was trying to look for my airfield. So luckily for me, he's distracted by that other 109 that just blew by me, and right here I fire at him, but I realize that he's shooting and he's totally outmaneuvered this other 109. I mean, that guy was on his 6 like 2 seconds ago, and now he's on his 6. So you can see he's dropped his flaps trying to keep himself from stalling in the turn, and holy crap, he just set that guy on fire and just blew him apart. I was pretty shocked. That guy obviously knows how to shoot. Luckily for my friend down there, the fire went out, but he's not pulling out of that dive, and he dies. I couldn't get to him in time to save him. So I start fighting with this Hurricane, and look at him turn. Holy crap. But here I do something really foolish. I almost black out in that turn. And really, when I think about it, there was no reason for me to take that risk and push it that hard to where I needed to black out. All I had to do was Chandelle and pull up over. And I could have avoided that risk. Because if I had blacked out this close to the ground and I hadn't let up on the stick soon enough, then you know, I probably would have just tipped over into the ground, and this guy would be just laughing his ass off. But luckily I recovered, and I'm making passes on him, and after that last pass, it looks to me like he's crippled because suddenly he's flying really slow and he's not maneuvering much. And look at that, his plane is shot to hell. In fact, there's a hole in his fuselage there where I could see through to the ground on the other side. With him in that condition, I decided to just spare him and let him land, because he's not going anywhere shot up like that. So I just decided to keep an eye on him and make sure he didn't try anything fishy. And I'll just cut to his fate so that you can see what happened to him. I followed him to this airbase. He managed to crash land here at Coquel Air Base. And you can see him down there. The flak is still shooting at him as he lands. But the game doesn't give me points if he manages to land on an airfield like this. But I don't really care. I'm not in it for the points. I know that I shot him down, so that's good enough for me. Here I am on final approach at Calais Mark, my airbase, and I am bingo 20mm cannon ammo and I have less than 100 liters of fuel remaining. I am also having a little bit of trouble lining myself up as usual, but I think I'm getting better at it. It's not as bad as previous attempts. Overall, a pretty successful sortie with 2 aerial victories over Rotal hurricanes, but there were a few close calls in there. I did make a few mistakes, things that could have been done better, of course. First, I need to remember not to decelerate into a dive during a bounce, and to rely on my prop pitch to keep me from over-revving or over-speeding in the dive. Second, I shouldn't be complacent over friendly territory, because that second hurricane almost caught me with my pants down when I was trying to find my airfield, and I was basically slowly losing altitude the entire time, so I didn't have any energy when the fight started. And if that second 109 hadn't been there to distract him, then he would have had complete energy advantage over me, and I probably would have been doomed. A good thing that happened was that my initial plan to attack out of the sun from behind and attack them from friendly territory actually worked. If I had done the bounce correctly, I probably would have been able to just hit and run and make a quick kill. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did like it, please like or subscribe, and if you have any suggestions, be sure to let me know.